Today we're going to be demonstrating the Xtractor by hydroculture.com. It's got a 150 mesh screen in it. It is a lavender extractor, but it works wonderfully for the medical marijuana patient for trichome extraction. The Xtractor has similarities to the pollinator, except for it has several ideas that make it much easier to operate. To get the drum in and out, you simply pick up on one end and slide the drum over. You don't have to jog the motor and try and align the coupling up to get it. You just simply pick it up and slide it over. One of the other advantages of this design is that you can remove the drive motor junction box in less than a minute by just removing a set screw and then 4 screws, and the box is off if you ever do have to do maintenance on the unit. But they're very nuclear. I've beat the heck out of mine and had no problems whatsoever. The screens on these units are extremely tough also. As you'll see later on in this video, I throw everything but the kitchen sink through it, all the stems and big things, no problems whatsoever. Never a tear, rip, or a puncture. The opening or feed end of the drum is held on by magnets. They're mounted on the inside of the plastic rim and not on the outside like the pollinators are. The pollinators, after removing the lids off and on several times, the magnets pop out and stick to the metal lid. The design of putting the magnets on the inside of the disc so that you're pulling against the disc all the time makes it it's going to last longer without any trouble. I take my dried shade leaf and all of my waste product and crunch it up by hand over a screen that is supplied by hydroculture.com also. Then once it's been crunched up and it's good and dry, it's ready to be put into the drum. You simply take the product and put it inside the drum. I put approximately a pound of dried shade leaf into it at a time. And you want to make sure and get the outside edge clean, because that'll fall down into the box where the trichomes are extracted and contaminate them. Then simply pop the lid on. It's magnet, it just slips right on. You want to fill it up to about there. You don't want to overfill it. If you're putting in uncrunched leaves, you can fill it all the way, and the rolling process will actually break them down and crunch them up for you. But I find it better to fill it with already hand crunched leaves. Then simply close the lid and set your timer for what you're trying to accomplish. The timer is something that's also not on a pollinator. It's really handy in order to get precision quality out of what you're trying to produce. I run for 20 to 30 minutes to get smoking keef out of the machine, and I run it for an hour for cooking keef. Get much more of the cannabinoids through when you run it for longer. If you're going to cook, you really want to get a little bit of the fiber through also, but if you're smoking it, you want to just get the crystal off of the leaves. The Xtractor's timer also has a timer off or manual setting so that you can run it for longer than the 60-minute timer that comes with it. Sometimes I'll run my stems for longer than 60 minutes. The stems have really interesting cannabinoids in them. I really enjoy them. They're great for pain. You would be totally amazed at what you will get out of the stems. When you see what happens further on in this video, you'll just be amazed. Out of a bucket of stems like this, I'll get 20 to 30 grams at least of really, really nice quality keef. You can even throw your old stuff through. It'll process just about anything and give you a good usable product. This was after a 20-minute spin that we just filled up. You can see what keef is in the bottom of this barrel. You can run this for another 40 minutes and get a whole lot more out of it, or you can take this up and then run it afterwards. This was relatively good leaf, but you can see there's just a ton of trichomes that come off of your garbage, your waste products that you throw in. Out of a load like that, I will if I run it for 60 minutes, I'll get way over 30 grams. If I run it for the 20 minutes, this is probably 15 to 20 grams.
Stop it.
Now we've cleaned the box back up, and we're going to run some stems through to show you what stems can produce. I think you'll be pretty amazed at what you get out of just your throwaway stems. We just load up the extractor. You don't want to load it too full, just like with the crunched up leaves. You have to have room to tumble. It needs to tumble and suspend in the air. If you overfill it, it doesn't tumble properly, and you actually get less yield out of it. So you really want to fill it to the proper amount so that it tumbles freely. If in order to get the best yield, you need it to tumble smoothly. And tumbling it, you can see that it tumbles freely, has room for it to tumble. If it doesn't tumble, the process doesn't work. So don't overfill it. That's the key to stems, leaves, everything. Now we're going to pull this out after 1 hour of tumbling. And as you can see, there's just a ton of medicine that gets extracted from the stems. The stems, like I say, have some real neat properties to them, especially for cooking. And we're going to just scrape it up a little bit, and you can see there's a lot of good medicine. Actually, the trichomes from the stems, they smoke really well. They're a little harsh, but they really do the trick, and they're really wonderful for pain. I mean, they really are. As you can see, that's not bad from just garbage. Now we're going to run that other old ratty garbage that that we had laying around, just to show you what comes out of, just even total trash. It gives you at least really good cooking keef. And again, we've cleaned the box up again. They get really covered. But anyway, cleaned it up for this next test of running the garbage. The real garbage. And this is after a 20-minute spin. And like you can see, even the garbage produces something that's a very usable product. So that completes our presentation of the medical extractor.